All right, hello YouTube. In today's video, we are going to be figuring out how to find the value of land for infill lots, specifically the way to do it in Southwest Florida. This would apply in a lot of other markets as well, but sometimes, as you'll see in this video, there's little things that you need to look at when you're doing it. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to go into Zillow and take your address and plug it in here. And now what's going to happen is you can see back here on the map that it gives you a location, so that's good, because sometimes with land it'll just show you at like the start of a street or something. So what I really use Zillow for is I want to look at the size of the land. So go down here and make sure, so it's 0.26 acres, and you can see like the sales history and all that. So really the only thing I care about on this screen is what we're going to use the map feature for. So as soon as I enter in the address, I'll exit out and I'll take a look at our physical lot, and you'll see it right here. And if you look actually right next door, there's a sold. So that's very convenient for us. But what I do is I go into the filters, you make sure you're checked off for lots only, make sure the lot size is within, your comparable size. And then the last thing to do is sold within the last 90 days. So now that you have that, you kind of want to zoom in a little bit and just like take a look at the area and see what you see. So right here, when I look at it, I see a paved road, like a freshly paved road right here on Radiance. But then going down here to Naomi and Ralph, it looks unpaved or, like really old and beat up. So just one thing to keep in mind when you're looking at this. So we're a paved road. This side of the street is not necessarily. So, but we'll come back to that. So the first thing I like to do is you're going to get all these comparables like all over the place. And what I like to do is I like to tighten my circle as much as I can. So I'm not necessarily going to look to cross any main roads right here. It doesn't really look like we have any main roads aside from maybe Columbus, but I like to keep as tight of a radius as possible. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the boundary, and now we're going to draw. And we're going to draw within, this kind of tighter circle here, just to really narrow down comps so you're comparing apples to apples. So we're going to go right here down to Genoa. We'll circle right here at Randall Tree, and then we'll keep it west of Columbus. So we'll go right up Columbus like that. All right. And lucky for us, this area is very, we got what, 12 solds in the last 90 days just in this little pocket. So this is going to be pretty reliable data for us. So now we're going to go back into where we were and keep that in mind. So one other thing I like to do is, when I'm looking at this unpaved road, paved road, and I see a 14K sold here, April 25th, or I'm sorry, January 25th. This one is like, okay, so you're pushing the 3-month mark. It's a while ago from today's date. And we want to make sure that that road is actually, unpaved. And so the first thing I like to do is I like to go into here, paste the address, and go right into the map. So right here, we're on Google Maps, and you can see here's our street. So our street's nice and paved. And now we're going to go over to Ralph. This should be Ralph right here. And now you see an unpaved road, but if you look at the image capture date, it shows December 2013. Ours over there, I didn't point it out, but it was 2022. So Google will actually show you when they captured this image. So this image is actually kind of old. So let's go to this side of the street and take a look. Okay, here we go. April 2022. So you can see Naomi is kind of bad. And you can see over here on Ralph is actually paved as of April 2022. So yes, you see even the aerial view is like outdated. But all right, so we know that Ralph is paved. So that 14K comp is kind of reliable now, and we can do a little bit more digging into this one. Let's see how long it took to sell. Oh man, let's remove. So listed again, April of 2022 at 18, and it sat on the market for a while before it sold for 14. So that 14K is something to keep in mind, but let's take a look at what else we got within this circle. So we got this 18K one sold right next door, 17.5. That one's going to be pretty reliable considering it's right next door. But it's sold off market. So if you look in here, the source is public record. if it sells on market, it'll show you like the brokerage or the MLS that represented this listing. But instead in here, you see public records. So this one sold off market, and I don't like to rely on off market sales for, any type of reason. So we're going to kind of scratch that one for now. We got 216 sold side by side. Side by side lots will have more value because it'll save the builder money when they're building, because they don't have to drive from like job site to job site. They put all their materials right in between the two. So we got a couple more 16s, but these are on like a drainage canal. It's not really a canal. The water's like 2 feet deep. People will drive like four-wheelers and stuff through it. So, and also it's kind of a red flag for mosquitoes. So a lot of builders aren't interested in lots like this. So you got 14, 16, 16 over here. And those were odd shapes. 26, this one is going to be a complete outlier here. I'll get people, they'll send me over this like, hey, this lot sold for 25. I want 20. And, you try to figure out why it's 25, and it just, it doesn't make sense. And if you look, they had it listed for a while, listed and removed, listed for sale. Sold pretty quick, honestly, for 25. I wonder if they offered any type of financing. That's where having the MLS is really nice. You can see, in the additional terms, maybe they say something like seller will entertain financing, $1,000 down, $200 a month, whatever the case may be. And a lot of people will overpay for a lot just because they can get it on financing, especially if the interest rate's low. So this one just being such an outlier, I kind of want to scratch. If there was anything under 14, I would say that those are outliers as well. But as you can see, there's brokerages here that are selling these properties at 14, 14, 14, 15, 15, 5, 15, 5, 16. So just looking at these, you can safely assume that this lot is going to retail right in like the 14 to 15 range as of right now. But let's do one more thing. Let's take a look at what's for sale. And we need to extend the days out. So let's look at everything for sale. And if you look at this, the cheapest for sale right now is 18. So now you have a little bit of wiggle room on it. So you think, okay, Ryan just said 14 to 15, but that doesn't mean that's what it will sell for. We're figuring out the value of the lot, but when you look, you got a lot of lots on here listed at 18,000. You got one right here, 50 days, 121 days, 1 day. This one's right on Radiance too, actually. This one's just to the north of ours at 18. Let's take a look at the activity on it and see if there's anything going on. One thing I like to look for on Zillow is the views and the saves. It'll show you these numbers based off the last 30 days. So if you're looking at a property and you see that it's been on Zillow for 3 days and it has 20 saves and 100 views, like a lot of people have interest in that property, so maybe it's priced right. But this one right here has already been on Zillow for a day, 15 views, 2 saves. It tells me that there's really not much going on with this one, and that one's on 18, and it goes back to that drainage canal. So, it's a positive and a negative being on these drainage canals. So they're not really comparable to ours, but the positive is you have a little easement in the back, so you feel like you have a little bit more privacy and you're not in your neighbor's backyard like these people are. But, the downside is a lot of builders won't even touch it because the mosquitoes over there are bad. And then for you as a homeowner, mosquitoes are bad. So you don't necessarily want that in this area, but, some people may. So I see the 18 range, and then, the 15 and 14 was the sold range. So I'm thinking that this one is something that would go on market around 16 to 17 if you're looking to sell it in under 60 days. So that's our first lot here. Let's take a look at the other one that I have. So we're going to go to 2022 Northeast 25th Street. So this one's up in Northeast Cape Coral. So we're going to start off just like we did with the last one, where we exit out. And then now you can see on here, you have some comparables right away. A lot of action going on, but we're going to start kind of like how we started with the last one with our solds in the last 90 days and take a look. And we have a decent amount. So what we'll do is we're going to remove our boundary again, and we're going to draw our circle. So we're going to go all the way up here to Northeast 28th, come down Del Prado, and then over Kismet. So Kismet and Del Prado are two busier roads. I know that. What you could do if you're not familiar with this market is just take the address, go right into Google Maps and take a look at what the area looks like. So now we're going to apply this filter, and now we have some sold comps in here, but the problem is we got canals, we got off market. We need to scratch these 3 right here. Actually, these 4, because these are all canal. So now canals and Cape, completely different story. Some people want the canals. It really just depends. So right here, we got a 42 sold we're going to take a look at. And we go into here, it was listed in 2023, listing remove, and then it sold off market. So another off market sale. So let's zoom out again and let's take a look at this one at 52. Yeah, see another one. This one's on a canal. It's oversized. You have the most privacy here. You have your own little street. You're not even going to share with these people. These people's driveway go here. So really, this isn't even a comparable. So we don't have much to go off in the sold category. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go down to for sale. And let's see what's going on that's for sale right now. So let's go any amount of days. And we got a lot of activity over here. So we got a 55 here, 65 here. These are all for sale. Let's kind of find the cheapest one that's for sale and take a look at it. So wow, right here. I mean, just knowing the area, 25,000 is a great deal. I am going to assume that there are turtles or owls on this lot. And it doesn't mention anything about it. 16 days on Zillow at 25,000. I may call that agent after this video and see what's going on, or look in the MLS and see, because I can almost guarantee you that there's a turtle or an owl. These lots in this area retail around like 35. So let's take a look at over at this one. This one's at 31, still under retail. And right here, you can see gopher turtle nest on property. So now you may be wondering, what is a gopher turtle nest? So we are going to go over here and go into the Cape GIS. So over here in Cape Coral, they have their own little website where you can see a lot of things about a property. So we are going to take our property and we're going to start by clicking on it to see if we have turtles or owls. So property restrictions, none. Now, if there was a turtle or an owl on the property, it would say over here, gopher tortoise nest on property, and it'll show the date and everything, date added right here. So this one has nothing, which is great. And no records. Okay. So now let's go back to Zillow and let's take a look at this one just so you guys can see exactly what I'm looking at here. So Northeast 27th, it's like halfway down the street. And what's the address of this one? It is 2119. So we are going to go up to 27th and find 2119. It was like halfway down the street. Okay, here we go. It's loading now. Oh, it's on the other side, isn't it? Yeah, 27th Terrace. Should be right here, yeah. So now we're going to click on this property and we're going to run report. And there you go. Warning, tortoise zone. So this one actually isn't the worst warning. It doesn't necessarily mean that there is one, but based off the listing in Zillow, like there definitely is one. So you're not just going to incriminate yourself and say that there is one when there's a chance that you're not. Someone's going to go out there and get eyes on it. So as you can see, even though it's priced to sell, no one wants to buy it because to relocate those cute little animals is like $6,000 and you need a building permit. You need everything. So these 2 listings we're going to kind of scratch off. This one's on the water. So now we're going to go down to this one. 39. You got 39s all in the area, 42s. Our sales aren't really there because, there was no apples to apples sales. But just based off of this, and it's going to be tough to comp sometimes, just based off what I'm looking at right now, I would put a sales price for, a dry infill lot between 36 and 38,000. And where I'm coming up with that number from is just, where these actives are, you're going to have to be slightly priced under these. And when we go back to our solds in the last 90 days, we don't really have much except this 42 right here. But other than that, I mean, it's really a tough one. So are you going to throw it on at 42 and then let it sit for a while with all these for sales? because there's for sales right now on this canal that don't necessarily have problems with the property and they're not selling. So it's kind of dicey what's going on in this area. Oh, we also need to turn off the 90 days so you can see the rest of the for sales. But it looks like 39 is going to be like a little bit above or at retail. So you're going to want to come in slightly under that as long as your property doesn't have any issues. But really all you need to do is, look into the IMS, make sure everything's good with your property. And one other thing that you can do when looking in here is there's a loan payoff option. And when you click on that, you can see if the assessments were paid off. So I knew that this area of Northeast Cape didn't have assessments, but if you're comping a property, maybe in Southeast or certain areas of Northwest Cape, you'll see assessments are coming in. So then when assessments are in, you need to see what's the payoff amount, because those are assumed at the sale and they're not paid off. So if someone owes, which is usually 30,000 in assessments, it's paid yearly through the taxes at 1,000 a year. So if you're buying a property and you don't check assessments, then you may end up being on the hook for $1,000 on top of your property taxes every single year. So that's pretty much it for this video. I'll probably do some more comping in the future, but I just wanted to get a quick little unique 2-lot video and show you guys the basics, the in and outs of comping in Southwest Florida. So on to the next video. Everyone have a good one.